Hello everybody and welcome back to another pastel painting. And I'm still working on my landscape, so I've got a couple here. I've been doing some sketches out in the field. This is a little cottage on the way out to a little village called Dalgai where some of our friends live, and there's some really beautiful little cottages and tracks all the way along that road that just come off and disappear into the middle of nowhere. So this is just a little stone cottage that we passed a few times. I really like the kind of composition of this. It kind of brings your focal point this way, which I really like. So I did a colour study, this one, which I quite like the tones. I'd like to lighten it a little bit, but I'm not completely happy with the composition. You can see from the sketch here, I've kind of focused this to just this half of the 2 pages from my sketchbook, but actually I feel like I need to push it further back so the house is smaller and it's a lot more in the distance, which just gives you a bit more perspective, and also wider as well, so I can capture that kind of length, that kind of vastness that was kind of present in the picture at the time. So I've also got an inspirational study. This is another one that I did recently. I really like this one. So I'm going to do something similar to this but with this composition. So let us get started. I have just the final piece of blocking for that I had. This is the offcut of the last video piece that I did with another landscape painting. This is the butt end of the piece of paper that I trimmed off so I could have a square piece, and I just thought, do you know what, this is a nice shape. It's an interesting shape. Yes, it's landscape, but it's also thinner, so I'm thinking this might give us just a help with making this composition interesting. So one of the first things I want to do is map out where I want everything, because obviously I'm not happy with that composition and I like my sketch composition, but it's too close. So I want to push it all back. So let's grab a pastel pencil. This will do. Yeah, that'll do. Nice weird colour. And map out first of all where I want the horizon line, because that's going to kind of tell me how far up and how far down. I really like having lots of sky, but I think I'm going to have to push that up in order to be able to make sure I've got the distance. So I'm probably going to have to shorten the sky to probably around 1/4 across the top. So let's say this is our sky here. I know because of my eyesight, none of my lines are ever straight, so everything's always on a slope. Supposedly that's fine though. Right, so let's say that is our horizon line. Now we know our house is fronted that, but I also need, because of the road, I need to bring it in slightly. So what I might do is if I mark off the road, so if I want the road to come this way, right, let's say our road's going this way, and then we've got our track. I have to maybe tighten that a wee bit. And then we've got our track here, which will then put our house here, along with the line that way for our tree. Yeah, I do think that might work better actually, doing it like that. We'll curve the road so we've got this directional. Yeah, we'll make that the track, and then we've got the fence line, which will come to about here. And we know the tree goes, this one goes over this, so we're not too fussed by that, but we want our house. We also want it to kind of look like it's disappearing into the distance a wee bit more, so we'll kind of do that. The question is, I know I keep bumping the camera, I do apologise. The question is that going to be enough? Have I pushed that far back enough for what I want? It's really not that much smaller than that, really. You know what, no, actually, let's run with it. We'll run with it. And then the bank that the house kind of curves, this curve, so I really need to make that curve more. No such thing as a straight, so that comes this way, and the curve of the bank goes that way, which is fine. So then we have, first of all, bushes, which is here, and that blocks the majority of that off. And whilst I had the tree fairly close, and pretty much on top of it in my study, I actually want the tree to be, the tree is actually further along. Further along the bank here. But I've got to be careful, because if I put it here, my tree is dead center in the piece of paper. So what I might do actually is move the tree further along, just to make the composition a bit more interesting, but also stable, because if I put it here, like I said, this will be bang in the middle, and it'll be too much of a focal point. So what I'm going to do is going to move this tree along, and the tree will now be over here. And that will just help bring some of that composition together a bit easier. And we've got our big bush here, which is kind of hiding the house slightly. Making bush there. Now, our distant tree line is here. We've got just some distant trees and bushes, not much. We also have some pylons as well here, but we'll see how I feel. I might actually take them that way along that distant tree line. We'll see what happens. We could be taking it that way. Now I've used gesso on this piece of paper. Sorry. I know most people, when they put gesso down, they want it to be nice and smooth. They want to put multiple layers. I just slapped it on with a very cheap flat brush, which I got from the local hardware store. For those in the UK, you'll know it is You Can Do It if you B&Q it. So just a really cheap 2-inch flat brush. However, it means I can slap it on, I can get all this texture. So I try to keep my gesso really thick when I'm working with this, because I want this texture. I want to get all these bumps and lumps and things going on. Now we know that obviously, again, we've got a nice fence line. It's leaning back, I think in my study, it's kind of gone too far back. So I kind of need to almost bring this up a wee bit, because it's got to stand up a bit more than that. There wasn't a fence on that side, but there is a very dark fence here. So I also have this sun I want to put in that I've got in both pieces, but because I've moved everything this way, I'm thinking, do I want it here or here? Just because of where this is, if I put it in line with the house, it's too close to the house, and we end up with a really busy section of sky, tree, house here. So that's not necessarily a good thing. So I might do, I could put it over here, but I worry that might make this, I need it in line with this road really. I need everything to be pointing this way. Yeah, I need everything pointing this way, so I'll have to put it here, I think. Which is really close to the edge of the paper, but actually it gives a nice kind of flow. All of our composition is pointing this way. So you want a direction? This is the direction we are going. We are going this way. Everyone clear with that? That's the direction we're going. We are going to the left, top left, or I don't know, upstage, well, from the audience, that would be the wrong way around. So it'd be upstage, stage right. So, usual, let's start getting some pastel down and getting some texture. Actually, I don't like how light the sky is in this one. I like how dark the sky is in that one. So I'm probably going to go for something a bit more along the lines of that colour. I had lots of different colours down for that. So I'm going to start with a brown, because I'm going to be lifting a fair bit of that brown off before I put the grey and the yellow and peach tones underneath. So I'm not too fussed about how dark it looks at the moment. You can also see all the lines of texture from where I was just slapping the gesso down earlier. Try and avoid getting any where the sun is. Add some peach in, especially around this sun. Right, let's smooth that in. Doesn't matter how rough I want to be, just want to get it on. Right, now let's get some texture. Let's just lift some of this off. I've also got something else I want to play with for texture today. This is a piece of bog standard bubble wrap, as you can see. Now it is plastic, so even if I put water down, can't obviously put water on this, it will run straight off, but if I put water down and then try to use this to lift off to get the texture, it probably won't work. However, I'm wondering if I make it sticky, wet sticky, that it will lift the pastel off. So I'm going to try some of my good old favourite hairspray and see if I spray the bubble wrap with this, whether or not that makes this sticky, and that will lift the pastel off, leaving the kind of honeycomb bubble wrap texture behind. We'll see if that works. I love playing, so we'll see what happens. Right. What I want to do. Be careful, obviously, with all these studies around, making sure I don't get. Right. Let's try lifting some of this off with this cloth. Look at that. That's nice. I lost some of what I was doing over there, but that's fine. I want that lighter anyway. That's where our sun is. Okay, let's let that dry a bit and give ourselves some colour and texture elsewhere. So I want to get this road in, get this path in. Right, I might have to cut that. No, I don't really want to go that far up, so we're going to go down. Yes, this is quite a dark colour, I wouldn't worry. It is a tarmacked road, so. And what else do I want to do with this colour? While I'm here, let's be careful, wary about doing these trees. Well, this back is still slightly wet, but actually I think it'll be alright. Yes, I know. All formality of how you work with things going out the window, because I'm putting a dark on the horizon line when traditionally that's where your lightest colour is. But remember, we're putting down and taking away, so it's not going to matter too much. This is also dark. This is the dark side of the house that's in shadow and shade because of this tree that's over the top of it. So we'll just do that for the time being. And also we have this beautiful bush here, which I'll give some colour to. Right. So a few different things there that we've just given our darkest colour to. Okay, yep, looking weird, or at least looking suitably weird. I've still got some dampness on here, so I'm just going to use this to create some texture on this road. I'm also going to, because it's slightly damp and also slightly dry, so I'm just going to use it to also brush off some, just to reveal some of that underneath. Same with these trees, like I said. Most of these trees will be lightening up slightly as we go, because I will want them hazier than that in the distance. For the meantime, we're just going to use the damp cloth to lift some of that. And the same with the tree. And the same with the side of the house. Only because there is a tree here, but we haven't put that in yet. We will do though, so don't worry. Okay, so I'm going to get some more of this brown down, but going into, this is where we want it, kind of as part of the grassland around this cottage. So that's where the off track comes. I haven't marked it yet. We'll see where we go with that later. Grass kind of comes up a bank like that, where the fence line is, and then there's actually a bank all the way along here, which is, I like to call it, well, in fact, if I say this, the Americans might make more sense of this than actually some of the UK people, because most of them sometimes don't always recognise the word or what it means. Sometimes they don't quite recognise what they're looking at either. But this is a berm around the house. The cottage is on a road that kind of follows quite a steep hill that the village is built into, but it comes to a flat floor of quite a wide valley on the way up to Pitlochry that the A9 winds through. And because it's very flat and a very large river called the Tay runs through it, these flatlands do tend to flood. So they've obviously built this berm around the cottage, and a berm is basically a bank of land. In this case, it will just be made out of stones, gravel, clay. Usually try and make it clay-based because clay is fairly waterproof. Then mound that up, and then the grass will grow up and over it, and it will form quite a nice barrier. It basically, if you think about it as a shallow bowl, it's the lips of the bowl that just keeps the water within that area instead of going outside of it. So it's quite good for that sort of thing. Just going to bring in something to help keep the focus this way. Right, let's just want to rub that in a wee bit. I love this colour. It's kind of like an orangey dirt brown. It is a kind of ochre umber colour. It's gorgeous. It is literally painting with dirt, for those that understand that sort of thing. I just love it. Why wouldn't you paint with dirt to create dirt? Wouldn't that totally make sense? Sure, it makes sense somewhere to someone. Right, now I want to get some of this grey down in the sky. Is this going to be dark enough, or do I want to actually go grey? I'm going to put this down first. I might find a grey to put over the top. Watch, because it's a really nice line where that house is, and I'm not sure whether I do want it kind of blending in a wee bit with everything else that's going on. So right, starting to get there on different kind of colours coming in now. So there's our sky coming in. I need a grey. I need a grey, people. Where's my grey? This is a grey. Is this going to be dark enough? Ooh. Yeah, I'll just add a little bit of blue tone. Because at the moment everything's a bit yellowy. Which is great. So I'm really doing these as kind of autumny colours at the moment. Oh yeah, look at that. That's nice. I'll be adding some of the peach back in for kind of loose clouds, or at least add to that haziness that I want. What do you reckon? Dark enough? Not dark enough? Just want to make sure that we're getting enough interest in the sky that when people get, because what you don't want is you don't want a really interesting foreground to the point where when people then follow that up to the sky's then a huge disappointment. I mean, how would you feel at that? I'd feel devastated. I'd be like, oh, well, that ended abruptly, or well, that wasn't as interesting as it could have been. You know, that's what you want, is you want that interest, and you want to be able to maintain that interest going up. So now we're going to add some of this, which is our peach. Just because, first of all, obviously we're maintaining our sun here, but it'll also add some interesting kind of cloud shapes. There isn't necessarily any clouds in this, but I just feel like I want something to keep people interested. Now, using this yellow. How yellow is this? This is pretty yellow. It will go lighter than that yet, but I need to bring in some yellow before I suddenly go whitey. Like that. Oh, everything's going flying. There we go. Right. How are we doing? So, got a bit of sky, got a bit of more interest in that sky. We're going to add some more brown tones to the trees. I need a bit more, less orange and more brown, so I'm going to go for a bit more reddy tone. Snap this because it's a little too big for what I want. So this is a slightly more reddy tone one. You see, we're keeping this kind of light and hazy along the back here for where these trees are. These trees, they just finish the horizon line nicely, which is kind of what we want. I don't want to overblend them, but that's looking, yeah, that's looking good. I'm just going to finish the road that way. And add this redder brown in here. Redder brown on the roof. So in two minds about the roof. I'll use this for the time being. Right, so we've got lots of interesting colours coming through. So I put things down and I forget where I've put them, and then I'm like, what do I do with it? Oh, there it is. There's my grey. I want that, so I want to add some of this into this road. So I'm going to add some blue highlights into this. So this is the wall that's facing us for this cottage. Now most of the stone cottages are painted white, or the traditional stone they've used is a very pale stone. So you'll see a lot of that in my paintings, is that the houses are a bit strange in colour compared to everything else, but there's nothing really strange. Honestly, it's just generally how we tend to face our houses up. I will clarify, we'll put the tree in pretty soon actually. It's very branchy, this tree, so we might end up kind of dumbing it down a wee bit. Again, my horizon line is all over the place. It's kind of making a bit for freedom. slightly. Oh, right, and obviously with this, we've got the burn, goes up this way. Keep this brown in. But then the rest of the grassland comes this way in line with the field. So I'm just gonna bring that in. Need to do it on the other side as well. You can see the way the colours work together on this one. I want to get this tree in. I'm thinking about what colours I actually want this. I've got this red actually. Thinking this might be better. Quite a weird shaped tree. That's why it stands out so much in the landscape. So. Probably use some of this to take this out a wee bit and just blend that in. Now I've got enough pastel down now. I'm thinking, should we try the bubble wrap? Should we have a go? See what we get. Yeah, let's try the bubble wrap. Right, where is it? Here it is. So, give this a coating. I want it to be wet enough. That's definitely wet enough. Sticky. Maybe I've got too much hairspray on, maybe? Possibly. Need to spray it lighter. Lightly spray. Yeah. Okay, well, it kind of worked and kind of didn't work. I think it's one of those things where try and test it. I think basically I put too much hairspray on, but that's fine. We'll let that dry. It will dry. See, now it's sticky. Now it's sticky. Oh, now it's sticky, it's doing it. Yeah, okay, so less hairspray and it should do it. It should create little circles. That could be interesting, but we'll have to let this dry for a minute before we come back to it, I think. Yeah, see what that does. Right, that's it as dry as it's going to be. It is a fixative of one kind or another, so it does darken it where it is, which is fine, because that's kind of what we want, is we want to create this interest. So I'm just going to, a little bit more in the sky than I wanted to, but that's fine. Okay. Oh yes, I want to get some of this and possibly some of the blue in this road. That's a bit better. Now, tree. I've got this red in. Yeah, that's a bit better. Now I've got this bush. Hides the end of the house. I might bring this further in because I think the house has become a little too squat because of where the bush is. So I'm going to bring the bush this way. And then use a damp cloth to lift where I don't want it. So we're just going to lift it from here. And then that will move this, allow me to move the house along a wee bit. Yeah, that'll do. So it just makes the house a bit bigger, just kind of what I want. And then on this side, we've got the other bush. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna add some of the red as well. This one just sticks out like that, but it's more and then we've got our, we're going to put a darker colour in here. This is our roof line. It's also where the house is, so you'll be able to see bits of it there. Should we add our grey in? Yeah, so I think it just needed, the house just needed to be a little bit further along, which is fine. So we've now extended the house to here. It's a little bit further along. It kind of makes a bit more sense in my head. Just make sure we got the bush where we want it. Okay, I'm going to start getting in some more of this some of the grasses and stuff now. So we've got our yellow. We'll be adding in some of the green greys as well. But we'll start with this. bank, so maybe bringing this up like that. Just wherever the damp bit is, it's just adding. There we go. I just kind of wish that tree wasn't there, it's annoying me. Wondering actually if I just bring that in a wee bit there. Got some of this grey back here. This is our distant field, and it's a bit greyer than what it currently is. Yeah, it's raining quite hard at the moment, so we're just going along with that. Some of that blue that we were... I haven't even got to the lightest colour yet, but just a couple of pops of that blue. And then that's the top of the berm. It just comes kind of down like that. And a huge truck. How are we looking? A bit better. And we want this back over the top of this, which is our weird green. And the truck has stopped on my road, which is even more irritating. I want to do some scratching in because a lot of what's going on. You might not necessarily see this. I'm just kind of following, this is where the road is, and then along there, which is where the berm is. And also, we're doing something with that tree. I wonder if it comes out there. Now, this house is where we get our white. And the roof has got a couple of different colour tones in it, so I'm going to go with the grey first, because that will help it more in. And then it's got a much lighter colour at the top. And it's kind of staining, so I'm just gonna just touch, bring down like that. I have to bring some of that in to these. Where the trees are. There's a kind of window here. I don't want to make it too obvious. I'm just gonna put a mark, and then there's like a little skylight thing here. Like that. Now, part of the fun things we haven't done yet is I haven't added my lightest yellow, which is this one. So we're just going to bring that down to here, and add a tiny bit here. I don't want to use too much of my nice tones that I've got going on. I'm wondering actually whether or not I should just do this some white. Sorry, I know I'm bouncing you guys. Occasionally just lift a little bit off, put it back, lift it off, put it back. Kind of like a dark shadow line there. I feel like there's little bits here. And a bit more of this and the distant trees. I feel like they're slightly too brown. And then we need to kind of focus on these fences. I actually want them to be fairly, I don't want them too dark. And there'll be people sort of thinking, why are you not using pastel pencils? Well, do you know what? The reason I'm not using pastel pencils is because I like the rawness and the kind of weirdness of just seeing where this goes, because it can go anywhere. And I like that. And the truck's coming back this way. I don't actually know where it's going, to be honest with you. But it's going somewhere. And then we've got the fence line that we had along here. So it's only on this side of the road. But this one has lighter coloured lines, so I'm just gonna, this is a steel wire line fence, this one, going this way. And like the other one that actually surrounds the house is actually a wooden fence, so. I feel like I've lost some of this goodness, but that's better. Yeah, that makes a bit more sense now. Right, what I might do is see if I can get this tape off and see where we are. I kind of like this composition better than the study. I just like the tones in it a little better. I just think they work better. I almost wish I had a slightly brighter yellow for some reason. I'm almost like that. Oh, okay. That might work better. That'll do. Oh yeah. I was gonna do the pylons, wasn't I? I'll worry the pylons. Is it gonna be too much? answer is no, I don't like them. So we'll get rid of them. Where's my brown? One of the nice things about pastel, you can just make things disappear. Just like that. That blue, I just feel like I need to add a little bit of it back into this cottage. Yeah, let's just see what happens when we take the tape off. I'm definitely happier with that than I was with that one. I do feel, you know what I think the problem is? I think it's these trees in the background actually. I feel like they need to be much darker in order to bring the house forward. I think that might be part of the issue got going on here. What do you think now? Slightly better. Right, let's move a few things out the way. Shove you there, shove you there. Try and get everything back a wee bit. Let's get a heat gun because I think that'll probably help. Don't want to rip this. Let's put it to 1. I don't need it that hot. Although I swear because the airflow is slower that it is hotter, but logic is a funny thing when it comes to a heat gun. And I think the answer is no, it has gone into the paper. Oh, look at that. Huh. Well, that's gutting, isn't it? Go to plan because despite even using the heat gun, it still did rip some of the paper off and I have no idea why. So we'll leave it at that. Hope you guys enjoyed another landscape pastel painting with me. I've got a few more. I've been out and about taking some snaps, doing a lot of sketching, so I'll be able to show you some more of that coming up very soon. Ta-ta for now and I hope to see you all soon. Bye!